This week we're revisiting the 2020 Mazda CX-5. This is the top-of-the-line signature model with a turbocharged 2.5 liter. Makes 227 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. It has the heads-up display, heated and cooled seats, all the bells and whistles, the Bose audio system. We were in one of these not too long ago, about this time last year, but it's always good to get a refresh, especially after driving the new Mazda CX-30 recently. This is considerably more expensive than the top-of-the-line CX-30. This tester tops out at around $37,000, $38,000. I love this machine gray paint. It has just such a nice metallic sheen in the sunlight. It looks really good, really sharp. This is probably how I would spec a CX-5 were I to get one. Another advantage to the signature turbocharged engine is that it doesn't have cylinder deactivation, if that is a concern for you. Again, this CX-5 just has a really nice blend of practicality, space, size. There's more than enough room here to fit all of your stuff from the family. It's easy to use. It has really intelligent packaging. You can fold these seats pretty much flat. Power tailgate. Plenty of cargo space. There is a lot more room in here too than the CX-30, vertically and as far as leg space goes. I'm 5'10", and I have more than enough space seated behind myself, especially to put my feet under the front seat, which is very nice. Otherwise, it's pretty simple back here, no bells and whistles, though you do get a very nice, comfortable seating position. Heated seat controls, a couple of cup holders, place to put your phone, 2.1 amp USB ports. I remember the days when Mazda had the 1 amps and they barely charged your phone. They've definitely labeled them and made sure that they keep your devices charged these days. And of course, you know me, I love a Mazda. Mazda makes a good car. And this CX-5 is fantastic for what it is. It's a really nice overall package. It's luxurious. The leather, the materials are top-notch in here. A lot of this is Napa leather. And real wood here on the door sills. I mean, it's great. It's a really good overall vehicle. I put some miles on it this week and just really enjoy the daily driving experience with this car. It's just so easy to live with. You don't make a lot of concessions in terms of ergonomics and usability. It's just very, very easy. One strange thing is the hood release and the fuel tank release are right next to each other, something that you could maybe accidentally hit at some point. You just got to be aware. The CX-5 is rated for 22 miles to the gallon on the city, 27 on the highway. However, Charlie from Daily Motor is now doing highway fuel economy runs, and he averaged 33 miles to the gallon in this at 70 miles an hour over about a 100-mile route. So, same pump, topped it off before and after, calculated the MPGs at the pump. The readout in the car said 32, and this was around 33 MPG. So if you want that full video on his channel, check out Daily Motor on YouTube. Alright, that pretty much sums up the walk-around. Like all Mazdas, the CX-5 is pretty similar to the rest of their lineup. A lot of the controls are the same. They do a really nice job with this infotainment. Climate controls are all buttons and knobs, which is beautiful. 6-speed transmission. In practice, 6-speed automatics work really well, especially Mazda's units. They're not over-geared. They're never hunting for gears. They can always find the correct gear for the scenario pretty quickly. And it doesn't do as well in the EPA ratings, but in practice, in real-world scenarios, I love this transmission. It's great. I have really good visibility in this CX-5 too. Some of the best visibility I've seen in modern cars, and Mazda does a really nice job with that. The CX-30 has higher door pillars, and these are still relatively high, but I still have a really nice greenhouse that I can see out of in here. I mentioned earlier that this is just a really easy car to live with and drive, and that translates all throughout it. So usability, ergonomics, and the driving experience. There's a lightness to the CX-5 that just makes it easy to wheel around town. It's not super long, it's not super big and cumbersome. It feels light and nimble on its feet. The turbocharged engine has a good amount of torque. You get plenty of power out of it without feeling like you're wringing it out all the time. It's a pretty unoffensive sounding 4-cylinder as well. The brakes are nice, the pedal has a good feel without being grabby. Throttle tuning is linear, everything is just how it should be. Mazda really does a good job focusing in on the dynamics and the driving experience of the car, and everything is so well matched throughout the vehicle. Of course, this has all-wheel drive, so you've got pretty good traction in the snow. There is an off-road traction mode now from Mazda, so that'll give you, with your ground clearance here in the CX-5, a little bit of off-road capability. And I have always liked how liberal Mazda's traction and stability control is. It does let you get a little bit of wheel spin off the line. This is a front-wheel drive biased all-wheel drive system, but I don't necessarily mind that for what this car is. Traction control never is intrusive or cuts out on you. You get a little bit of understeer under throttle. Overall, this car has pretty impressive cornering dynamics. It'd be pretty fun on the back roads. Honestly, it feels pretty similar to the Mazda 6 that I had a couple weeks ago. Just, of course, shorter wheelbase, a little bit of a taller vehicle. And you feel that, but still it's the same pleasing Mazda driving dynamics. The suspension in this Mazda CX-5 does err a little bit towards the stiff side, but that definitely helps in its handling. It's not overly firm for daily use, but you definitely notice it on some of the harsher road impacts, and I'm sure these larger 18-inch wheels have something to do with that too. You can hear there the engine holding the revs up a little bit higher, knowing that we're cornering a little bit harder. I love that there's no gimmicky stop-start system in this car. It just lets you focus on the driving experience. Cruise control is very easy to operate. You can change your following distance very quickly on the steering wheel. If you don't turn cruise control off, it stays engaged, or the ability to engage it, even after you turn the vehicle off and on again, which is nice. So you can just jump right into cruise control whenever you want. It is a little bit of a brake-heavy system, so it's not perfect. It's not as smooth of an operator as some of the others that we've tested recently, but it's a usable system that it tends to follow a little bit farther than I would like and brake a little bit more often than I would prefer. But otherwise, it's pretty usable for what it is, and you can always go in and just turn it into traditional cruise control very easily in the settings. And that is one thing I do really like about Mazdas, is they're so configurable in the menus, and there's so many settings that you can change and customize to your preferences. You can see here, as cars are getting in front of us. It's braking a little bit late, responding a little bit after the fact, and not blending that speed differential as well as some other vehicles that I've operated cruise control systems with before. One strange thing that I've always found with Mazdas is that even flat out, it never quite goes all the way up to red line. It shifts about 500 RPM before $6,000. And maybe that's an engine thing, that the torque and the horsepower, that's its peak level, but kind of an interesting observation. Of course, if you put it into manual and sport mode, you can get it to rev all the way up. But even flat out, it'll shift automatically. But if you hold the accelerator before that 2-stage button at the bottom of the pedal, you can get it to hold at redline. Alright guys, well that's kind of a wrap up on my thoughts on this Mazda CX-5. We'll do a little audio test after this and get you guys acquainted with that system. Honestly, I'm not as impressed with the Bose in this CX-5 as I was in the CX-30. And I think they've done some updates to that system, tuned it a little bit better for that car's space. This is a good sound system, but it's not blowing me away like the CX-30 did. And so there's a little bit of a difference there. Alright guys, thanks for watching. We'll keep this one short and sweet. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I would totally daily drive one of these CX-5s. It's a very, very pleasant overall driving experience, and I think owning one of these would be a great addition to any garage, especially if you're a little bit of a driving enthusiast and you can appreciate some of the finer touches that Mazda has put into their cars lately. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later. Take care. Little note on this infotainment here. So it's always really nice that they have quick access buttons to the navigation, to the home screen. You can go in here and very quickly access what you need to. And if you're in park, this acts as a touchscreen.
That's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me. You can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky. Come get high with me. That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's
Anyway guys, that kind of gives you a good idea of the audio system quality in this CX-5 Signature. Let me know if you have any questions. That'll be it for this one. Thanks for watching.